Hello everybody, my name is Thor Young. I'm a moderator with Bearable Traders, and I would like to do a recap for you on my trades today. Took some pretty decent trades today, not all good, but for the most part, really good. I ended up not getting a lot going on at the open just because things kind of all popped too fast. And I'm not really a momentum speed trader. I tend to be more of a trend scalper, a trend trader. So it took me a little while to get into some good trades. I did lose a trade on Apple today, which was unfortunate, but I made it back strong with a great short on Microsoft as well as some shorts on DKNG and AAPS. I'll show you those real quick. And I mainly want to talk about my Microsoft trade. So before I get into that, if you have a second, please throw me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. Make sure to do that for us. It helps us out. You guys all know how the YouTube stuff works, so if you can take a second, throw that for me, I appreciate it. All right, on to the trades. So the first trade I've got going on here is my Microsoft trade. As you can see, I'm still holding it in. I'm going to come back to that in a second, but I want to start off by going to my Apple trade. Look at this absolute just horrible read on my behalf. Every now and again, what are you going to do? You just get it wrong, right? So Apple went up through R4 and this daily level, got rejected 2 times, a third time came down. I should have realized that the lack of volume on that rejection there wasn't a clear enough signal, but it pushed down, it came back up, rejected VWAP. I decided to go short and I gave it the loss of VWAP. Came down. I actually thought I was doing pretty good there for a second, but then the ladder changed very obviously and this thing just started to squeeze, and I stopped out at VWAP, and then this thing went into a cover rally, which is basically a short squeeze, right? And you can see we just squeezed up here, had some stops, trigger, got a little bit of volume, but eventually just came up here, chopped, and then failed. Really nice short on Apple would have been right up here near the moving average cross, 147.30. I was watching Microsoft for that. So, and I'll show you what happened there. So losing trade, what are you going to do? AMC was great today. I tried one trade near the open when it bought up. I had a hotkey error, so it put me into the position and took me immediately out of the position, thankfully for a $10 profit. So really nice. Thanks me or whatever. And then it came down, bottomed right off this daily level, so I went long, great RVR, got partials into VWAP, but then stopped out at break even, and it looks like we're trending short right now. I'm going to actually be watching S3 right here on AMD. We've got big orders on the ladder that are going to come into play here in a little bit around 34, so I might be looking for a bounce here on AMC. We'll see. And then I played AAPPS. This was actually a call off of the room. Member in the chat room called it. I really liked the way the ladder looked to the downside and that we were being stuffed under VWAP, so I went short, gave me really easy RVR. Popped down here, it wouldn't fill me for some reason, lagged a little bit, but finally filled me when it upticked, which was nice. And then I took the rest off at break even because it really just wasn't moving. And as you can see, we're in a low volume. Looks like we're just kind of chopping and consolidating this area, so no trade there. All right, now back over to Microsoft. So Microsoft is still working for me. I have about 10% of my position still on, which is not a lot, unfortunately. I wish I was holding a little bit more. But as you can see here, really happy with my read on Microsoft here. So the first thing I want to point out is really high volume at the open, 250,000 shares on this narrow bar that kind of set the value. And you can see this yellow line is VPOC, that's value, at least in this time frame on the 1 minute. You can see we sold off and we were being supported by this daily, this is pre-market low and previous day's close that we're being supported by, and we broke away from that, but volume was mediocre at best. Once we got up under R3, we started to stuff over and over and over again. We had no topside ladder on the level 2, showing us that we could make it further. So I was just waiting for it to really confirm. We came back one more time, and I got this nice, beautiful upside down hammer, and then it made a new low, so I went short there at the moving average cross, just gave it my entry candle, and then partial back at those same levels because they were supporting so well before, and then another partial at a profit target, and then big partials down. And as you can see now, we've lost S3, so I got my full move down to S3. Also looks like we might be looking to break out. I think some bad news came out on the SPY, maybe some interest rate information from somebody, because the SPY itself and the Qs have just started to sell off like crazy. So really great move on Microsoft, almost 3 times my daily goal now thanks to this trade. So just a perfect example of why you don't need to force trades in the open. There's a lot of times when we kind of get duped in and think, man, I really got to get into a trade now. If I don't get in now, I'm going to miss the big move. I'm not going to get the action that I'm looking for. And now there are days that may be true, but in most instances, the vast majority of instances, I will say, you can see here that's not the case. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do on that big drop there is I'm going to cover all right at 286. That's my full move there on Microsoft that I'll take all the way down to 286. That's through S4. If we're hitting previous day's close on the SPY, so if we're going to bounce, it'll probably be here. If we squeeze back up to the daily levels, maybe I'll get short again. But for now, that's all I need to do for the day. So just a great, beautiful move on Microsoft. Hope you all enjoyed the recap. And as always, keep it green, y'all. Thanks.